What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another trading session. Today is Thursday. It is June 11th, and we're going to be digging into some music by the great John Coltrane. If you are new here, if you haven't come to one of our trading sessions before, what we're going to do is we're going to play 5 tunes, and we're going to play the melody together, and then we'll trade, just like as if we're practicing together. And hopefully it's something that'll allow you to explore some new tunes, learn some new tunes. You'll be able to, go back and investigate these tunes a little further yourself. And yeah, so it should be a fun little practice session. And I hope that these tunes aren't too hard. As I was kind of going through this, I was like, man, this is a challenging set of tunes. It was suggested to do John Coltrane, but John Coltrane was maybe most known for his, like, all those tunes with giant steps changes and everything. But we're gonna not do too many of those today. I have imagined that we'll circle back and do some more Coltrane later on, but for now today we're going to stick with some more familiar tunes, at least familiar for me. Some easy, some hard. This might be one where you'll have to revisit and check out some of the tunes and practice them. Obviously it's live here on Facebook and Twitter and wherever you're watching, but if you want to go ahead and find it on YouTube later, you'll be able to do that. So don't fret. So today we're going to do 5 tunes. We're going to start with Moment's Notice. We're going to play Take the Coltrane, Giant Steps, Lazy Bird, and Impressions. So some easy, some hard, and they're all the links to the play-alongs should be, at least, in the description. And so what we're going to just jump right in today and play Moment's Notice. So we'll play the head, and then I'll take the first chorus, so that will give you guys a chance to breathe a little bit and get right to it. But yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Moment's Notice. And please, leave me a comment, what you're thinking about, what you might want to do in the future, just to say hi. Would love to hear from you all as we're going through our little trading session here today. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to try to make sure to control our levels here so that nothing's clipping too loud and everybody can hear. So let me know what you're thinking, and let me know if there's some problem with the audio or video or anything in the comments, and I'll try to fix it as we go. Hopefully. It's always a challenge to deal with music and technology at the same time. So thank you for bearing with me if anything should happen. But yeah, so we're going to do Moment's Notice. Let's play the melody together, and then we will trade choruses after that. Pulling up the play along here for us. Okay, so we're going to go right on after the break and play the melody. One and... You guys got it. Oh, I guess that's the end of the track. All right. That's a hard one. It's a hard one. Hey, Hike. Hope you're doing well, man. Hike is a young trombonist that is going headed off to Eastman from St. Louis. So thanks for dropping by, man. Hope maybe you're playing along. Good luck up at Eastman next year. I know you'll have a lot of fun with Mark and everybody up there. Tell them I said what's up. Yeah, if you have any questions about these tunes as we go through them, feel free to drop in a question. Always happy to chat about some of these tunes. Obviously, some of these Coltrane things sometimes can get a little heady, as in like harmonically complex, and so I always try to simplify it down as much as possible to try to just focus on making music. So speaking of making music, we're gonna switch now to a little bit easier of a tune. We're gonna go to Take the Coltrane. Take the Coltrane, a great Duke Ellington Coltrane collaboration, an F blues. And so now that we've kicked it off with this, a lot of brain power with our Moment's Notice. There's a good question from Jackson. Let me throw it up on the screen here. 1 second. Jackson's going to be joining us at UNT in the fall. Looking forward to having him as a student. Great trombonist from Minnesota. He says, how do you keep lyricism in mind during these fast-moving changes? I think about Curtis Fuller and how he is always, no matter how fast he's playing, he's always got that sense of lyricism to his playing. And so basically shaping fast lines and fast moving chords around the idea. So it's like the idea comes first, whether the changes are moving fast or slow. So the idea of the melody has to be in your head first, in your ear. And then you play the idea and you fit the idea to match the changes that are happening, not play the changes and then fit it to a melody, if that makes sense. You got to have the melody, those shapes, those guide tones, the voice leading in your mind first, so then you can start to make more complicated lines off of the faster moving chord changes. But I'm always trying to simplify it down as much as possible and try to think about that through line through the changes, meaning the voice leading. And it could be seventh to third voice leading. It could be extensions using voice leading. It could be finding my own kind of pathway through those. So I know that's not a super detailed answer, but that's kind of the way I think about it. I was just doing a little video about transcription and analysis yesterday and thinking about Curtis and thinking about just the way that he blends together those two things. So that's somebody I would definitely listen to blend, fast moving changes and also lyricism together. So this next tune, Take the Coltrane, it's going to be, I got to pull it up here. Whoops. It's playing already. So it's F blues. We'll play the melody twice. Why don't you guys take the first two? Let's trade 2 choruses a piece at first, then we'll go to 1 chorus after that. So F blues, even if you don't know the tune, you can join in. All right, so here we go. And if you don't know it, I'm sure you could learn the head. It's pretty simple. It's just a riff. Go ahead, 2 choruses. All right, here we go. Two choruses each. One more. One chorus now, one chorus. Ooh, there's the end of the track. All right. So it's a little quick. Got to give you a little bit of a challenge. This whole week, this whole John Coltrane week is going to be definitely, everything is a little bit challenging, either tempo-wise or the lots of changes wise or whatever. So yeah, it's good practice. It's kicked my butt a little bit. I was thinking about what to get together for today, and I was like, oh man, these tunes. So thanks for digging in here. I appreciate you guys being here. Next is everybody's favorite. It's not too fast, don't worry. Not too fast, don't worry. So giant steps. Now, before we jump into playing giant steps.
Hey everybody, I'm Darlene.
And I'm Emily.
And let's talk about...
Mute that for a second. But before we play giant steps, I just want to talk about a few things. So one of the most enlightening workshops that I ever went to as a kid in high school was by a trumpet player named, and this is in regards to giant steps, not just of anything, in particular to this playing giant steps. This trumpet player named Mike Kaupa. Mike Kaupa he was in Rochester where I was growing up, and he played with a lot of people, lived in Spain, played with Jorge Rossi from Brad Meldau's trio. Great musician. And he was talking about playing through these changes, and it never occurred to me at the time that you could write your own guide tone lines. And so what that means is you like take a staff, you write the changes out, and then you find your own line, whole note or half note lines that go through the changes. So something like giant steps this is particularly good for, because you can find how to connect these changes together, because like sometimes it seems like they're jumping around all over the place. So it really helped me to write these out. And I see Gers Gonzalez, he put in some funny emojis here. Like giant steps, baby, giant steps. And so doing that was super duper helpful for me. I don't know if it might end up being helpful for you at some point to do that yourself, but I highly recommend it. It's something I have my students do. I ideally would want you to be able to improvise these type of lines. So instead of just improvising freely over something like this, an assignment that we might have is like, all right, walk a bass line, right? So that might sound like quarter notes, but okay, maybe that's too complex and we want to hear more simplicity or more melodicism like we were talking about before. So, okay, now you're going to have one note per chord. So you can only pick one note, and it's got to be an important note, and it has to be within a whole step or half step of the chord before. So you're going to get into some funny extensions, but this is going to get some nice chromatic and stepwise voice leading through it. So if you can do it, you can go up, you can go down, you can go up and down. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but if you can write these things out, but then you can also improvise them. And once you can improvise these counterpoint lines to the bass melody, the root motion, then you're really dealing with some stuff. So I'll take the first chorus here. So let's play the melody. We'll just play the melody one time, and we'll just trade choruses. I think it's not fair to do anything other than choruses in this particular case. It's not too fast, don't worry. There was another play along that I had found that was even faster, but I decided that I could barely keep up, and I didn't want to kill myself trying to keep up this morning. So I found a little slower of one. But here we go. So here's Giant Steps, one chorus melody, and then I will take the first chorus. You guys turn, go ahead. Last chorus. Some kind of ending there. Ooh, yeah. It's a good reminder.
Shop no further.
Oh, hey. Okay. It's a good reminder that that's one of those things that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Obviously, I screwed up the melody on the way in. And, that's how these things go. Real life. So giant steps, if you can do that, hopefully you could hear a few times in that trading. I tried to do some of the things I was talking about, playing like chromatic lines, whole step and half step lines, and then some different exercises that you can check out. But my favorite one is to alternate major, minor, 1, 2, 3, 5 through the sequence. So like. Something like that, where you alternate down in whole steps, just like, the bass is doing that boom, 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 down that whole tone thing. So if you do the same, you can kind of simplify things a little bit for yourself. But giant steps. a constant reminder of needing to be humble and shed. It's great. It's good. Thanks for being here. We're going to move ahead. We got 2 more tunes today. Thanks for joining us on Thursday, June 11th, or if you're watching in the future, thanks for checking it out. Hope this is bringing you a little bit of shed time during what is kind of a busy, crazy time in the world right now. But happy to be sharing this John Coltrane music, one of the greatest contributors to Black American music ever lived, especially in the realm of jazz music. And we're going to move to Blue Note classic, Lazy Bird. So a little bit more like Moment's Notice, more changes, more chromaticism, less major thirds, some major thirds, right? We got the E flat to G relationship. Train is kind of checking it out in all different ways. So we're going to play Lazy Bird. This one's not quite as long, so we won't get quite as many choruses in. But so let's play the melody, and then you guys take the first chorus, and I'll take the second chorus. And it does have an ending to it, so I forget when it's going to go to the ending, but when it does happen, I'm sure I'll be surprised. And I'll be like, oh, there's the ending. So here we go. We're going to play Lazy Bird. It's a live band playing, but it's a little bit shorter than some of the other ones. So here we go. Here's Lazy Bird.
1, 2, 2, 2.
Go ahead. There goes the ending. I told you this one was a little bit short. A little bit short, but what are you going to do? A good tune, a little bit fast, but another one where you really try to dig into this major third relationship between E flat major and G major, kind of a precursor to Giant Steps, really. But it's a fun tune, definitely one worth knowing. It's one that we investigated pretty deeply in the virtual studio. If you're interested in like diving deeper into tunes like this, I break down tunes like this and talk about different ways of improvising on them in the virtual studio. So if you're interested in more stuff, you feel free to check that out if you want to. But otherwise, we have one more tune for today, and a classic tune. I was watching some videos on YouTube of a version of So What with Train and Miles in the studio. I think Jimmy Cleveland was playing trombone, and there's like a nonet, and so I forgot about that video. It's a really great video if you haven't seen it, a live version of So What. But I bring that up because we're going to play Impressions, and Impressions is basically like So What, right? It's the same long modal thing, except maybe fast instead of slow. But, the one thing I was thinking about was that if you listen to it, Train plays the melody a lot of different ways. I always try to double check a lot of, these tunes before we, present them. So I hopefully don't screw them up, but then I screw them up anyway, as you heard already. But it's okay. It's just real life. And I was checking that out, and I was looking at some lead sheets and realized like they're all wrong because Train is playing all different stuff all the time. So I'm going to play, basically an approximation of the melody, I think there's kind of like a shorthand version that like most people like kind of know and kind of play. So we'll kind of do that mixed with a little bit of actually I listened to Train playing it a bunch of different ways last night. So hopefully that will come out. But I think we can do trade choruses, and then we can trade eights on this one as well. That would be fun for our last tune of the day. So thank you for being here. If you have any thoughts about future episodes, what we should check out, there's a lot of really hard Train tunes we could do in terms of, there's some other ones that are like more unknown, like Straight Street, not unknown, but I don't know if there's a play along for them, like Straight Street. And there's lots of them, but just trying to explore different composers and keep this going, at least for the summer. Next week is June 18th, and the following week I'm teaching at 2 virtual camps. So hopefully, maybe not. I don't think next week we'll be able to have a training session, June 18th and then June 26th. So we might be not back until July, but just stay tuned. You just check out the Instagram and Facebook. And if I do one and you don't see it, it'll be recorded. You can find it on YouTube. So maybe I'll just do one and post it straight to YouTube because I won't have time to do it live, because we have our jazz trombone boot camp that we're doing next week, which should be really, really fun, featuring a lot of really, really amazing trombonists. I'm sorry if you can't be there with us, but should be really fun. And then I'm teaching another jazz camp the week after that. So lots of things happening, even though it's summer and it's still quasi lockdown. All right, let's pull up Impressions and let's get to work. D Dorian, baby. All right, so let's play the melody together, and then let's have you guys take the first chorus. I think that'll be great. You guys can take the first chorus, and then at some point we'll switch to doing eights. But let's do choruses a little bit first, and then we'll do eights after that. Whoops, not yet. Hang on. Okay. Here we go. Impressions. Go ahead. Guys got it. Let's do eights. Eights. Last chorus.
You do it every year.
Oh my goodness. We get those ads jumping in. Come on, YouTube. Get it together. All right. There we go. Impressions. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you can go back, play it a couple times, have a little shed sesh on your own. Thanks for being here. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in while I'm just signing off here. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow for a Q&A session. Do those on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll be back tomorrow for that. And so we'll see if I can continue that or not next week and the week after while I'm teaching in these camps. But hopefully I will, or I will reschedule them or something like that. So stay tuned for that. So I'm looking for suggestions for other future topics that maybe you guys want to play, other topics, other composers, types of tunes. I think this is maybe the 8th or 9th session that we've done here. We did a couple Wayne Shorters, we did a Benny Golson, a couple standards, a couple bebop sessions, a Charlie Parker session. So it's a little bit limited by availability of play-alongs. I don't want to jump into too obscure of territory because I want people to be able to actually shed these tunes and take them on their own into the future. So it's not just like a random thing, like some random tune that some random guy on the internet has a play along to, but that everybody can actually shed and get those things together. So drop me a line. Let me know what you're thinking about, what you might want to shed. Otherwise, thanks for being here and keep on practicing. I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'm signing off for now, and we'll see you either tomorrow or next week or over on YouTube. See ya.